Alright, let's dive right into the heart of a car, the internal combustion engine. This engine is a complex machine that has been powering our vehicles for more than a century. It's a marvel of engineering, really. The internal combustion engine is made up of several key parts, each playing a crucial role in making your car move. First up, we have the cylinder, which is kind of like the engine's powerhouse. Inside the cylinder, you'll find the piston, a free-moving component that moves up and down within the cylinder. Now, the piston is connected to the crankshaft, and this is where the magic happens. As the piston moves up and down, it turns the crankshaft, converting the linear movement of the piston into rotational motion. This rotational motion is what ultimately drives your wheels. At the top of the cylinder, you'll see the cylinder head. This contains the spark plug, which ignites the air-fuel mixture.
In the valves, which let this air-fuel mixture in and the exhaust gases out.
The camshaft, connected to the crankshaft, controls the opening and closing of these valves. It's a complex dance of mechanical parts, all working in harmony to power your vehicle. Finally, we have the timing belt or chain, which synchronizes the movement of the pistons and valves, ensuring they don't collide with each other. There are more components, of course, but these are the basic parts that make up the internal combustion engine. It's like a symphony of motion and energy, each part working together to create a powerful driving force. It's quite something, isn't it? Stick around as we delve deeper into how these parts work together in the fascinating four-stroke cycle. Let's move on to the next fascinating part of our journey, the four-stroke cycle process. This process is a series of events that occur in the engine, and it's what actually generates the power that makes your car move. First up is the intake stroke. During this phase, the piston moves down in the cylinder, which creates a vacuum. The intake valve opens, and a mix of air and fuel is sucked into the cylinder. Next, we have the compression stroke. The piston moves back up the cylinder, compressing the air-fuel mixture. This is like tightly packing a spring. You're building up potential energy, which will be released in the next step. Corporation. Now, the exciting part, the combustion, or power stroke. The spark plug at the top of the cylinder fires, igniting the compressed air-fuel mixture. This creates a small explosion that forces the piston down, turning the crankshaft and delivering power to the wheels. It's kind of like the release of that tightly packed spring we talked about earlier. Finally, we have the exhaust stroke. The piston once again moves up, and the exhaust valve opens, allowing the waste gases from the combustion to be expelled from the cylinder. And then,
The whole process starts again.
intake, compression, combustion, exhaust, over and over, thousands of times per minute. This continuous cycle is what powers your car, and it's happening right beneath your feet as you drive. Isn't that just mind-blowing? But don't go just yet. We still have so much more to explore about the amazing internal combustion engine. Stay tuned. Now that we've got a handle on the basic parts of the internal combustion engine and how the four-stroke process works, let's delve into the role of fuel. Fuel is without a doubt an essential player in the workings of an internal combustion engine. The fuel's main job is to mix with air in the intake stroke, get compressed, and then ignite to create the combustion that powers the engine. But not all fuels are created equal. The type of fuel you use can significantly affect your engine's performance. And here's why. Gasoline is the most common type of fuel. It's relatively cheap, widely available, and provides a good balance of power and efficiency. But it's not the only option. Diesel fuel, for instance, has a higher energy density than gasoline. This means that for the same volume, diesel can provide more power. However, diesel engines are typically more expensive and can be noisier than their gasoline counterparts. Then is ethanol, a biofuel made from plant materials. Ethanol can be used in modified gasoline engines and burns cleaner than gasoline, reducing harmful emissions. But, it's not all good news. Ethanol has a lower energy density than gasoline, which means you'll get fewer miles per gallon. Finally, let's not forget about compressed natural gas, or CNG. CNG produces fewer emissions than gasoline or diesel, making it a cleaner alternative. However, it has a lower energy density, and finding refueling stations can be a challenge. So, you see, the type of fuel you use can have a big impact on power, efficiency, cost, and even the environment. It's all about finding the right balance for your needs and circumstances. Keep watching as we dive into the cooling and lubrication systems that keep your engine running smoothly and coolly. Now let's shift gears and look at the unsung heroes of the internal combustion engine, the cooling and lubrication systems. These systems are crucial in ensuring the smooth operation of your engine and preventing it from overheating. First, let's talk about the cooling system. As you can probably guess from the name, its job is to keep the engine from getting too hot. You see, when the air-fuel mixture inside the engine ignites, it generates a lot of heat. If this heat isn't managed properly, it can lead to serious engine damage. And trust me, that's something we want to avoid. The cooling system, typically a water cooling system, uses coolant or antifreeze to absorb the heat from the engine. This hot coolant then travels to the radiator, where it's cooled down by air flowing through the radiator's fins. Once cooled, the coolant is recirculated back into the engine to absorb more heat. It's a continuous cycle that keeps the engine at an optimal operating temperature. Next, we have the lubrication system. This system ensures that all moving parts of the engine are well oiled, reducing friction and wear. The oil pump circulates oil throughout the engine, coating parts like the pistons, cylinders, and valves. This oil creates a slippery layer between these parts, allowing them to move smoothly without grinding against each other. And it's also pretty good at absorbing heat. Regular oil changes are crucial to keep the system working effectively. Over time, engine oil can break down and become less effective at lubricating, so make sure you're keeping up with those oil changes. Together, the cooling and lubrication systems keep your engine running smoothly and efficiently. They're kind of like the engine's personal bodyguards, protecting it from the threats of heat and friction. But we're not done yet. Stay tuned as we explore the environmental impact of internal combustion engines and the technological advancements aimed at reducing their carbon emissions. Now let's touch on a topic that's been getting a lot of attention lately, the environmental impact of internal combustion engines and the advancements in technology to reduce their emissions. It's no secret that traditional gasoline and diesel engines emit a substantial amount of greenhouse gases, primarily carbon dioxide, CO2, which contribute to global warming. They also produce other harmful pollutants like nitrogen oxides and particulate matter, which can harm air quality and pose risks to human health. It's a serious issue, and it's led to a global push to find cleaner, more sustainable forms of transportation. But it's not all doom and gloom. There have been significant advancements in technology aimed at reducing the environmental impact of internal combustion engines. One such advancement is the development of more efficient engines. By improving fuel efficiency, we reduce the amount of CO2 emitted per mile driven. Another significant advancement is the use of cleaner burning fuels. Biofuels, for example, can be a more sustainable alternative to fossil fuels, and they often emit fewer harmful pollutants. Plus, they're renewable, made from organic materials like plant matter. Hybrid vehicles, which use a combination of an internal combustion engine and an electric motor, have also gained popularity for their reduced emissions and improved fuel efficiency. And then, of course, there's the rise of electric vehicles, which produce zero tailpipe emissions. And while they rely on electricity, which may still be generated by burning fossil fuels, they're generally much cleaner than vehicles powered solely by internal combustion engines. So, while internal combustion engines have certainly had an impact on our environment, it's important to recognize the efforts being made to reduce this impact. The future of transportation is evolving, and it's an exciting time to be a part of it. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the heart of a car, the internal combustion engine. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Safe driving, everyone.